Hello everybody, it's the Crippeteer, and I'm back again on the Steven Universe vlog. But before I get too far into this vlog, I'd like to first apologize for how bad the audio quality was on the newest episode of Cartoons vs. Cancer with Maxwell Adams, episode 10. I don't even really have a reason behind it. I wanted to try using a new microphone. Didn't work. It straight up didn't work. Maybe I shouldn't have used it on something as important as Cartoons vs. Cancer, but I just wanted to try it out. I probably should have done it on a vlog before I did it on a big episode, but it is what it is. You can still hear the episode. You can still listen to it fine. It's just I sound underwater, and he sounds a little dicey, but rest assured, not going to be using that microphone anymore, so don't you worry about it. The next episode will be completely fine, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. Today's episode is mindful education, and in this episode, Steven and Connie are going in to get some fusion training done with Pearl while Garnet watches them, but Connie's a little messed up in the head right now because she can't really fight, because when she thinks about it, she can only think about an incident that happened at school a few days prior, where she beat up a kid, or she hurt a kid because the kid just bumped her in the shoulder, and her warrior instincts just kicked in, and she turned around and RKO'd him. She didn't RKO him, but that'd be pretty funny. But the point being, she's very she's scared. I guess she's sort of scared of her own power. Half and half, more of she didn't even mean to, she just instinctively did that, and she was kind of scared about it, and that's preventing her from really wanting to keep fighting. So Garnet's hold the phone, alright, we can talk about this. So they form back into Stevonnie, and Garnet and Stevonnie go into this yoga meditative zone, which is absolutely gorgeous. I'm not even going to pretend that I can remember the name of the studio, but there was a guest animation studio that helped do the, I'm pretty sure it was the Zen Zone, I'll call it. The Zen Zone that they go into with the butterflies in this episode. And while, I'll be honest, it's obvious where the, Cartoon Network's animation stops and the other studio's animation starts. The other animation studios is a little more fluid, but at the risk of being a little more choppy at sometimes. But, I'll elaborate on that further if, I need to. But, I think it looks gorgeous. So they go to this place, and they have this amazing musical number. I'm going to say this might be my favorite Steven Universe song so far. I don't even know what it's called. I've only heard it once, but it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It's a duet with Estelle, and I don't know who does Stevonnie's voice. I'm guessing she's a famous singer, but I can't say off the top of my head that I know the name. But it's just gorgeous, and it's this Garnet pretty much, through the song, Garnet pretty much explains that if, two people, Ruby and Sapphire, for instance, are fused and they have a little bit of a problem, and, one of them's a little torn up over something and the other one doesn't know what to do, you just breathe out, and just say, it's okay, it's alright, stuff happens, problems happen, nobody's perfect, I gotta work it. I need help. But, that's just the way it is, that, nobody's perfect, and things happen, mistakes happen, and people get mad, and you just have to breathe in, breathe out, and say it's okay, and it'll be fine. So, Ruby and Sapphire try that, and then Steven and Connie try that, and the next day, Connie seems to be fine, because she went back to school, she made up with, I think it's James is his name, but the kid that she injured, she made up with him. They're all fine now, and the kid even wants to know a few of her fighting tricks. So, everybody's happy in the end. So, everything should be pretty cool. So they form back into Stevonnie and they're fighting. But then when they stab a Pearl, they enter that, scary zone again of being unsure about themselves. But this time it's Steven who's unsure. Well, not exactly unsure, but more of afraid of what he's doing. Because when he stabs the Pearl, he only sees bismuth, which, that's a little dicey of an area. He only sees bismuth, and then when he keeps going, he only sees Jasper getting corrupted, and the giant ruby being a horrible giant ruby sort of thing, and it's really getting Steven torn up. So now it's not, Connie's all torn up and destroying the fusion, it's Steven. So they eventually get so lost in their own mind that they fall off of the MidAir Stadium, which is totally what it is. If any of you get that, if any of you remember what the MidAir Stadium was, Brawl's the best Smash game, come at me. Oh, no, it's not. But anyway, I digress. Brawl is not the best Smash game, that's the Wii U version, but Brawl is better than Melee, so the hate mail's in the comments below if you're looking for somewhere to let out your anger. Anyway, steamy opinions tonight. Alright, so anyway, I digress further. Stevonnie falls off the MidAir Stadium, and they come undone, and Steven's just, he's just falling in the air, and he's crying, soaring, crying. There's not a tear in heaven that he hasn't reached. And Connie's like, it's okay, just, breathe in like Garnet said. But Steven's all torn up because he never wanted to hurt any of the people who he saw in the flashback. He was just trying to help them, and they didn't want his help. Mostly because a lot of them thought it was Rose, now that I think about it. But, so Steven and Connie do this great subtle nod to Spirited Away, if you got that. I don't know if that was intentional, but it's kind of hard for it not to be intentional. The end where, the end of the movie, where I don't want to spoil it, I guess, because that could possibly, even if I said the character's name, that would kind of spoil it. Alright, well, the end of Spirited Away, where two characters are falling from the sky and hold hands and talk about stuff. They even do the imitation of, like, when the tears on Chihiro's face, like, are going up into the air. I'm trying as hard as I can not to spoil the end, but, like, they even do the allusion to when, the tears from Chihiro's face fly up into the air. They do that with Steven, too. And it's really subtle, but I really like it. I thought it was really funny. If that was intentional, which it would kind of be really, really coincidental if it wasn't, especially knowing how big of a Studio Ghibli fan Sugar is, but, whatever, maybe it is. I don't know, I ain't Joe Pesci. So anyway, they fuse again, and then they safely reach the ground, and they're just like, you know what? It's alright. It's cool to be cool. That's the end of the episode. And that took me 7 minutes to explain, wow. But this episode, whoa Nelly, I liked this one. Legit, like, half the episode is a musical number. Like, it's a music video. And that might not be saying much because they're usually 11-minute episodes. I mean, I'd say the music part was no longer than 3 minutes. I don't even want to pretend that I did the math on that, but you know what I mean in terms of, a good chunk of the episode is this music video, practically, of Garnet and Stevonnie singing, which I said before, and I'm not going to completely say I understand what the butterflies represent. I think it's fear, because when Ruby gets mad at one of the butterflies, fear starts to encompass Sapphire, but I'm not completely sure, because then there's another butterfly that appears on Rose's sword, and when Steven sees it again, and he gets all, like, creeped out about it. So I think the butterflies represent fear, but I'm not completely sure. That's a Gruppet theory. But what I do get is, how they represent, if that is fear, how it, like, will consume people. There's this amazing scene where all the butterflies, the second time that they go into this, like, the Zen Zone, if you will, is, when Steven's all scared of all these people who he's practically killed, now that I think about it. Did he kill the rubies? I mean, he practically left them floating in a void for all eternity. And even in that episode, they talk about how if they just keep floating, they'll eventually starve. So, yeah, I think or not starve, but just die. So, yeah, I think he killed them. Huh. I didn't think about that until just now, actually. Alright, so the part where Steven's surrounded by all the people he's practically killed, all the butterflies, like, form into this giant rose quartz face, and, like, the hair is all flowing and stuff. And it's just, I can't even, like, story significant-wise, alright, it's fine. But, like, animation nerd-wise, it's just gorgeous. I love this episode. Those guest animators, I gotta look more into their stuff. I'll probably link who they are in the description below if you really want to look into more of their stuff. But they deserve some more recognition. These guys are beautiful, beautiful craftsmen. I love the way that they just make it look so fluid. And like I said, it's a little bit choppy, and this is more the animation critic in me coming out, because I've seen, it's safe to say I know a thing, watched a little bit of animation. But, like, it's a little bit choppy during the parts where the characters are moving, which seems to be the part where a lot of character animators get a little choppy. It's not like, one frame spur of the moment thing, but it's definitely a change from the Steven Universe style, which usually has pretty organic looking characters, a little bit static, but you know what I mean. And it's a change from that, but it's still, I mean, when they get to the butterflies, they get to the swirling stuff, it's just gorgeous, and I love it. And I love seeing more about how this Steven, who is my least favorite character in the show, just because of how he's always like goofy and everything about everything, is really like evolving. These issues are really, really getting to him, and they're really messing him up in the membrane. And it's amazing to see that. I hate to say that it's amazing to see a Loki get messed up by such traumatic events, but you know what I mean. Like, this is great character development. This is great growth. If you go back to like a season from this episode, you won't see anything like the Steven you see right now. I mean, you can go back 10 episodes, you don't see the same Steven you see right now. It's amazing the way that they've grown this character, and that they're really showing his shortcomings a lot more, especially as the main character of the show. The person who started out as the character that people could relate to in this crazy world of gems and stuff is now, while some people, especially the audience, is more adapt to all the stuff going on in the gem world, he doesn't seem to be. And that really seems to be messing with him, and that's really interesting to see the character that, oh, my lights just flickered, to see that the character that is supposed to be the relatable one, making the audience be able to relate to the show, but he himself can't relate to what's happening in his own universe. If that makes any sense, it makes sense to me. But that's just really interesting to see. But really, besides that, I think I covered everything. I love this episode. It was amazing. If you guys liked it, please tell me. If you guys know anything, like movies that this animation studio made, I'd be interested in looking at that. But yeah, besides that, if you liked it, thumbs up, thumbs down, tell me a comment, critique me on how bad the microphone was on the new episode of Cartoons vs. Cancer, whatever, I don't care, and I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.